this Honorable House to be able to respond to the questions which have been put before us. And therefore, I'll proceed to answer the question as asked. The actions that the ministry has taken to address the chronic underfunding. In response to question number 1, the Ministry of Gender, Culture and Children's Services acknowledges the long-standing challenge of underfunding facing the State Department for Children's Services, formerly the Directorate of Children's Services, which has historically limited the State Department for Children's Services' ability to discharge its mandate of promoting and safeguarding the rights and welfare of children across Kenya. In light of this, the ministry, through the newly established State Department for Children's Services, has adopted a multi-pronged approach to advocate for increased budgetary allocations, ensuring that children protection financing is mainstreamed into national broader planning and resource mobilization frameworks. The key actions taken are as outlined before. High-level budget advocacy and engagement. In May 2025, the ministry held consultations with the Departmental Committee on Social Protection of the National Assembly to make a case for increased investment in children's services. A formal request was submitted seeking an additional 10 billion above what was earmarked for the financial year 2025-2026, and the justification is emphasized as below. The urgent need to scale up children protection service delivery in response to rising cases of abuse, neglect, and exploitation. The financial requirements for recruitment and deployment of additional children officers, the operationalization of new sub-county offices and mobile outreach services, and strengthening data management through the Child Protection Information Management System, known as CPIMS. The second action is integration of children services priorities in national planning frameworks. The ministry has ensured that the strategic priorities of the State Department for Children's Services are well integrated within the medium-term expenditure framework and are aligned to key national development blueprints, including Kenya Vision 2030 and its social pillar, the four-term plan MT4 2023-2027, the bottom-up transformation agenda, particularly its focus on social protection, inclusion, and human capital development. These alignments aim at making children protection a national priority, thereby increasing the visibility and competitiveness of the funding proposals of the State Department for Children's Services during the national budget process. C, administrative restructuring for greater budget visibility. Following the recent restructuring, the State Department for Children's Services was separated from the State Department for Social Protection and Senior Citizen Affairs. These has significantly enhanced the feasibility of the State Department for Children's Services, thereby revealing the deep need for greater budgetary allocation within the national fiscal framework to enable more targeted planning and resource allocation for child protection functions. The second action is budget estimate for 2025-2026. As per the ministry's recent submissions to the National Treasury in May 2025, the total budget estimate for the newly established State Department for Children's Services for the year 2025-2026 is Kenya shillings 12.318 billion. This is broken down as follows. The recurrent expenditure is 12.074 billion, and the development expenditure is 244 million. See the below for the detailed line items under the recurrent vote. I am sure that you already have that. So on the economic classification, compensation to employees is 1,167,867,643. Use of goods and services is 610,885,301. Current transfer to government agencies is 10,249,698,000. Non-financial assets is 45,625,350, making that total of 12,074,076,294. Then we have cash transfers to orphans, what we call OVC. This is orphans and vulnerable children, which is 9,130,736. The State Department is currently supporting 445 children, 516 households, 516 households as per the October 2025 payroll. So that is money that we receive and then we send directly to these families. So the total recurrent budget exclusive of personnel emoluments, that is PE, we have rehabilitation schools. The budget is 127,448,388. Then children's remand homes, 98,383,588. National Council for Children's Services is 81,117,000. Sub-county children's services is 44,192,375. Then we have children's services. We have the headquarters. 34,355,784. Headquarters emergency relief and refugee assistance is 330 million. Alternative family care services is 3,882,225. Child Welfare Society of Kenya 600,045,000. Counter trafficking in persons is 2,016,475, and presidential bursary is 100 million. The National Assistance Trust Fund, victims of counter trafficking, we have 13,500,000. Kenya National Children Assembly is 6.3 million. Kenya Child Helpline 116 is that is an helpline that is open to all children, is 8 million. Children services at regional offices, 5,603,263. Cash transfers, which I already mentioned earlier, to is 9,130,736. 9,130,736,000. Street Families Rehabilitation Trust Fund is 180 million. Headquarters Administrative Services is 106,445,113. AIDS Control Unit 3,225,938. Information Communication Technology 10,786,813. Personnel Administration Services is 3,225,938. Finance and Procurement Services 7,207,688. And Central Planning and Project Monitoring Unit is 6,627,337, making a total of 10,909,434,589 Kenya shillings. We now go to the development projects. I will be able to mention the project and the approved budget for the year 2025-2026. Renovation of Meru Children's Remand Home is 1.96, that is in million. Construction of a kitchen and dormitory at Dagoretti Children Rehabilitation School, 15 million. Fencing of vocational rehabilitation centers and remand homes, 25 million. Renovation of Likoni Children Rehabilitation School, 10 million. Renovation of Nakuru Children's Remand Home, 11 million. Fencing of Ketathuru National Reception and Classification Center, 4.42. Renovation of Nyeri Children's Remand Home, 10 million, 0.54. Renovation of Manga Children's Remand Home, 3.68 million. Othaya Children's Rescue Center, 6,720,000. Renovation of Muranga Children's Remand Home, 7.88 million. Kericho Children's Rehabilitation School and Remand Home, 6.44. Fencing at the Othaya Children's Rehabilitation School in Nyeri is 6,630,000. Fencing of Kakamega Children's Remand Home, 4.71 million. Kakamega Children's Rehabilitation School, 9.6 million. Renovation of Mount Elgon Sub-County Children's Office, 1.59 million. Construction of Ijara Sub-County Children's Home, 2.6 million. Renovation of Muranga Social Development Office, 10 million, 0.23. And replacement of asbestos roofing and renovation of statutory children's one is 100 million. Then the medium-term budget projection for 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029. The ministry is working closely with the National Treasury to ensure a progressive increase in child protection funding over the medium term. The projected budget requirement for the State Department for Children's Services is given in the table below. That is the budget requirement for children's services in 3 outer financial years. Financial year 2026-2027 projected budget allocation is 12 billion 56 million. 2027-2028 is 13.73 billion. 2028-2029 is 15.10 billion. That is progressive. It increases as the years go by. That is between 2026 to 2029. I will now proceed to answer question number 2. And the question was, what measures has the ministry put in place to ensure timely and full utilization of funds allocated for children welfare and protection through the Directorate of Children's Services and the Victims Protection Fund? Response. The ministry has implemented several operational and financial control measures. These are aligned with the best practices in Public Finance Management Act of 2012 to eliminate 2012 Public Procurement and Disposal Act of 2005 and its regulations of 2020 and aim to eliminate delays and inefficiencies. The ministry has undertaken the following. 1, timely approval of work plan, procurement plan, cash flow plan in financial year 2025-2026. Timely request of exchequer from the National Treasury. Timely approval of the planned departmental activities by the accounting officer and the AIE holders. Delays in approvals are tracked and reported to the Principal Secretary for action. Timely requisition of payments by sections and departments. And the ministry has consulted State Department for Public Work Engineers and Quantity Surveyors for support to SDCs in preparing accurate and timely bill of quantities for its capital projects. Accounting officer has delegated authority to incur expenditure to heads of departments. AIE holders are empowered to approve payments within their limits, thus reducing bottlenecks. The Victim Protection Fund in Kenya aims to assist and support victims of crime and abuse of power. Established by the Victims Protection Act of 2014, the fund provides resources for victims, including legal and social services, and financial assistance for expenses related to their well-being. The Office of the Attorney General and the Department of Justice coordinates the function. The Ministry of Gender, Culture, and Children's Services also have responsibility over children's victims who are the most vulnerable and should be accorded priority treatment according to the Children's Act, Cap 141. The third question, which was, could the Cabinet Secretary also provide a breakdown of the number of children officers deployed to each of the 47 counties and specify the steps being taken to address the issue of officers being assigned to serve multiple counties simultaneously? Response. The breakdown of the number of children officers deployed to each of the 47 counties. As of June 2025, the number of children officers deployed nationwide to all 290 constituencies and to the 8 regions, 47 counties, and 353 operational sub-county offices was 714. This is shown in the table below. This is the list of all the counties. So in Baringo, the number of officers that are there are 20.
Honorable CS, you don't have to.
I don't have to read.
Yeah, because that document has been circulated. So just paraphrase it and conclude.
Yes, so I am guided. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So the total number of officers in the 47 counties, looking at the grand total is 714, and shows the variance. You'll find some other counties have more, others have less, and also because of the geographical distribution, that is something that I will address in the next few minutes as I give the analogy. So the ministry acknowledges the critical role that children officers play in safeguarding the rights and welfare of Kenya's children. In recognition of the urgent need to safeguard and strengthen the child protection workforce, the Ministry of Gender, Culture and Children's Services, through the State Department for Social Protection and Senior Citizens Affairs, with support from UNICEF, commissioned a national workforce mapping report, official, which was launched in April 2025. This comprehensive exercise, initiated in 2023, analyzed the staffing status, deployment patterns, caseload, and operational gaps across the country, and the key findings from the report are summarized below. One is high child protection burden. From 2019, Violence Against Children survey, it was revealed that over 50% of children in Kenya experience violence before the age of 18, underscoring the magnitude of demand for child protection services. Then there is a severe staffing deficit. From the list that I gave earlier, which I read, currently we have 714 officers that are serving an estimated 18 million children nationwide. This translates to only 2.7 officers per 100,000 children, a ratio that falls significantly below both national needs and regional benchmarks. Operational and logistical challenges. The effectiveness of the officers on the ground is further hindered by inadequate induction and continuous training, unmanageable caseloads per officer, logistical limitations such as lack of transport and equipment, and uneven deployment, with some officers assigned to cover multiple counties, compromising service delivery. County level deployment status. From the county by county breakdown of the deployment of children officers above, it is noted that the average number of officers per county is 15. Officers are present in 353 out of 407 sub-counties. Some sub-counties with high child populations are fewer than 5 officers. In at least 12 counties, children officers are responsible for more than 1 sub-county, leading to overstretched and burnout. Several sparsely populated counties are managed by a single officer, and in remote or sparsely populated counties, e.g. Mandera, Turkana, Samburu, and Lamu, some officers are covering multiple sub-counties due to workforce shortages. So the ongoing and planned interventions. So to address these workforce disparities, the ministry has initiated a series of immediate and long-term reforms as outlined below. Short-term to medium-term interventions. Recruitment proposal for the year 2025-2026. A proposal to recruit 500 additional children officers has been submitted to the Public Service Commission with the aim of reducing the burden on existing officers and eliminating multi-county, sub-county coverage by single officers. Targeted and equitable deployment, guided by the ministry's strategic plan and operational data. Staff rationalization will be prioritized in underserved counties and ensure station-based postings rather than regional assignments. Structured induction and training. We shall conduct comprehensive induction for recently recruited officers and continuous professional development for other officers to enhance the quality of child protection interventions at the grassroots. Digital workload management via CPIMS. The ministry is scaling up the Child Protection Information Management System to enable centralized workload tracking, remote case supervision, real-time workload balancing, and evidence-based deployment decisions. Those were now the short-term, medium-term interventions, and we now go to long-term and structural reforms. Strengthening the social service workforce. The ministry is taking steps to professionalize and stabilize the social service workforce, including liaison with other stakeholders to professionalize the social workforce, to regulate and accredit social service practitioners. Currently, the private members' bill that was in the National Assembly titled the Institute of Social Work Professionals Bills 2025, number 17, which was to establish a council. The bill was passed by National Assembly on 9th October 2025. Proposal to formally integrate child protection volunteers into the workforce through stipends, structured training and supervision, and restructure it to reflect the structure of community health promoters who are very effective on the ground. Gradual shift from reactive casework to preventive and community-based services. Workforce planning using MIDSS. The ministry has developed and operationalized a multivariable index of demand for social services. This tool ensures equitable staff allocation by considering geographic remoteness, socioeconomic indicators, incidence of child rights violations, and existing caseloads per sub-county. 8-year expansion plan. To meet Kenya's long-term child protection needs, the ministry has adopted a phased staffing plan covering all 407 sub-counties. Year 1 to 3 is to fill existing 691 vacancies in the approved staff establishment. 2, recruit essential administrative and support staff. And 3, to operationalize 283 sub-county child protection offices. Year 4 to 8 is to scale up to full coverage in 407 sub-counties and to recruit an estimated 7,126 children officers and 1,432 support staff. Projected investment and impact. These projected expansions will require an ambitious cost, but will reap fast benefits that need our consideration. These are given in the table below. I don't know whether I should read this one because it is very small. The parameters are, the total annual cost is 5 billion, 3.9. The share of national budget is 0.15%. Increase in workforce size is 6.8%, 648%, the increase that will come when we employ more people. Increase in case handling capacity is 428%. That is up to 1 million cases per year. And then finally, it will bring a reduction in GDP loss from violence against children. So once we deal with that issue, the violence against children will reduce from 4.8% to 2.33%. I submit.
Senator Miraj, you may ask supplementary question if you have any. Yes, Senator.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to ask the last person after my fellow members.
Okay. Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Welcome to the Senate again, Madam. Madam, as you are aware, Marsabit County and Turkana County are the largest counties in this republic. And I'm surprised to see in your response, you have officers in Marsabit County only 9, in Turkana County 11, and in Kajiado County, you have 28. So my question is, have you ever visited those counties? When are you going to visit? What is the justification? The most largest, biggest county, larger, also very difficult to reach some places, having only 9 officers. And county of Samburu having Kajiado having 28 officers. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Kenywa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Karibu Waziri. My question is, I would want to know, you have indicated that you had a formal request of an increment of 10 billion for the purpose of increasing the number of your officers, as well as scale up children protection. But having requested that, what I'm seeing is that you have a budget of 11 billion. Then the projected budget for the years to come is 13 billion and 15 billion. Does it mean then that what you had, the question that Chute is asking about more officers are not going to be recruited, because the amount that you are asked it for are not were not given, and in your projection, you're not even showing anywhere that you have captured the 10 billion you have indicated. And what's even shocking me, Mr. Speaker, is that in the budget I am seeing 100 million is provided for presidential bursary, vis-a-vis the development, which I'm seeing is only given 244 million. Seriously, Mr. Speaker, it's the same thing that you're getting even, I'm saying this because I sit in the Committee of Education. It's the same thing I see even in our counties. They are using money to give bursaries that are not supposed to be given to the bursaries. So my question is, if it's a presidential bursary, is it not supposed to be anchored in the State House budget? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator for Meru County, Senator Kathore.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to ask a supplementary question. But before I do that, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you because I know the ministry. You know, there's a time we approved my travel to the UK to go and seek for attend a meeting. They are trying to seek funds to connect children in the institutions back to families, Mr. Speaker. So I want to thank you first and foremost for that. And then my question is this, Madam CS, whether you are aware that Meru is leading in teen pregnancies. And my statistics is like almost, we have 4,000 children who have left school this year because of teen pregnancies. Last week during the, I think grade 6 and 9, 17 girls did the exams in Nyambene Hospital in Maua, while in the maternity ward. So that is the statistics, Mr. Speaker, for only 1 week. So it shows every week there are almost 20 children who are in the maternities in Meru. So, Madam CS, what are you doing as a ministry in charge of children, at least to ensure that we reduce or we stop completely those teen pregnancies? If I check on this list, the officers in Meru are only 12, Mr. Speaker. Meru has 9 constituencies and 15 sub-counties. So it means there are some counties with no children or child officer or children officers, Mr. Speaker. So what is your ministry doing? And if we come to your proposal, short to medium-term interventions, you are saying you have a proposal to recruit 500 additional children officers this financial year. Have you been okayed, or do you have that budget to recruit 500 additional children officers, or this is just a proposal that you have given the Public Service Commission. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Essie Okenyere.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to find from the Cabinet Secretary, because my observation is previous attempts to rehabilitate or reintegrate street families into homes has failed because we do not have a report on the same. So my question to the Cabinet Secretary is what measures does your ministry have to actually get street children out of those streets so that they are reintegrated back to society? Because allegations are we have cartels who are using those children as beggars and using them to make money. So, Cabinet Secretary, I wish you shed more light on that, because my observation as stated is that that has failed previously, because we do not have data from your ministry indicating street children who have been reintegrated or rehabilitated. Thank you.
Senator Eddie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'm glad to see the CS here. She got back to work and she has been doing a lot that she could do within the time that she's come in. But my question is, what are the targeted programs that you have for kids who are faced with high-level conflicts? Because when conflicts come in some areas like where I come from, specifically in Kuria, right now there's a serious conflict in Kuria, Kuria East, a place called Timaru Guitembe, where mothers have not been able to farm for the last 2 years. They can't farm, they can't get food, and yet they have children in that conflict that is going on between Kipsigis communities and people in Narok and Kuria side in Guitembe. And the children there cannot go to school, delayed schooling is going on there, and a lot more problems in terms of feeding. What is the targeted program for this kind of people that you have, particularly for Migori? And on the rider to that is also the people who have been affected by floody areas, those tragedies of nature, where kids are then affected that they cannot go to school. This is happening in places like Kabuto, in Nyatike constituency where I come from in Migori. What are these targeted programs that you have for them, and is there a budget for them that can be able to help the people of Kuria and the people of Nyatike to get some support for their children to go to school and to feed? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mwenda Gataya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for that opportunity. I would wish to get this clarification from the CS. Madam CS, you know, most men who are survivors of gender-based violence are normally dedicated. And because of our masculinity, many cases go unreported. They just go in silent, they are never attended to. So what is it that the ministry is doing to make sure that men who are subjected to gender-based violence are also taken care of? So that maybe
Senator Gataya, that has no bearing to the question that has been asked.
It's a societal issue.
We are discussing children and matters related to children. That is the primary question.
We have children who are also being...
I rule that your question is not a supplementary question. If you have another one, you may proceed to ask. If you don't, kindly...
Thank you, Speaker, for your guidance.
Senator Mbugua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam CS, there were reports from some government quarters that your ministry intended to abolish the children homes for home care-based model. I would like you to tell this House what is the current status, and also tell this House how many cases of child abuse have been reported in the children homes. Thank you.
Senator Wakili Hillary.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I would like to appreciate the Honorable CS for the responses that she's provided to this House. My supplementary question, Mr. Speaker, is regards to the cash transfers to orphans, vulnerable children, amounting to 9.1 billion, which from the report you've been given supports 445,516 households. Could the Honorable CS be able to have statistics on how this has been distributed across the country or across the counties, the 47 counties, together with statistics on the distribution, if any, of children officers deployed to the 47 counties? I ask this, Mr. Speaker, because I note in Bomet County, which is one of the 5 counties where we have a lot of vulnerable children, as per the statistics of 2024-2025, they have got only 16 children officers compared to Kajiado, Nairobi, and Homa Bay, which they fall into the same category. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond.
Thank you very much for the supplementary questions. Let me begin with the answer to Senator Chute. I think that was the first question. You asked the question, Turkana, which have 9 officers, 11, and Kajiado 25, respectively. We have visited these counties, and when I say we, it is we as a ministry. We have visited, and we note that truly there is a very big gap, and we are redistributing them after the training. We have officers who are undergoing training, and we shall distribute them according to the need assessment. You will agree with me that from the answers that I gave earlier, that there is a very big gap of officers. We have a shortage of officers. And once we have officers, we shall distribute according to the population of the children and also according to the geographical distribution, because every child deserves to be taken care of. And we also want to say at this particular time that it is important that this State Department for Children's Services has now been given that position, because earlier on it was just a directorate, and therefore it was not receiving the necessary funds and the feasibility. But now that we have a whole State Department, we are now looking at very critically on the needs assessment as per the county and as per the population of the children. I will also go to the question about the budget projections. We have, let me first of all go with the issue of the teenage pregnancies. The senator from Meru has asked about the leading, that Meru is one of the counties that are leading in teenage pregnancies, and that 4,000 of them have left school. We have an adolescent program under the niche, supported by Government of Kenya and World Bank and other partners. We still need more funds because this is a societal problem, and we must be able to all address this particular problem, and we want to all applaud to the House also and all Kenyans to be able to take care of our children. These challenges of teenage pregnancies can be addressed at a very early age when the children are well educated and they are informed about what is happening in the biological processes. And therefore, it will not be left only to the State Department for Children's Services, but all Kenyans. Let us all reach out to our children, especially when they are on holidays, to be able to take care of them, to ensure that they don't fall into this issue of teenage pregnancy. So, as the State Department for Children's Services, we'll do our part, especially when we get the budget support but we want to call upon all Kenyans to ensure that we take care of, we teach our children on what is happening, because some of them are innocent. About the street families rehabilitation integration, we have, these children are not only Kenyans, they're also foreigners. So we are also reaching out to, through the East African integration, reaching out to the other member states to ensure that all these children are taken back, reintegrated back to their family homes. Because a census has been done, and the report is almost out, but already the preliminary reports that we are getting is that most of the families are not Kenyans only. We have Kenyan families, and we have foreigners. So all these people must be informed where they have come from and be reintegrated back to their communities. Senator Mugo asked about the issue of abolishing the children homes. It is an ongoing program because the policy of the government is to reintegrate the children back to their societies. Because children grow up better when they're in families. And we even asked a question, what happened to the children when there was corona? And we were told that most of them were in their homes. So the truth is, some of these children, they belong to their homes. And therefore, part of the findings that will come out, or the statistics that we shall get after the census, we'll be able to know who can actually be reintegrated back, so that people can grow well in their families where there is a father and a mother, or at least a relatives, even if there are children who do not have a father and a mother by virtue of death, they will be reintegrated back to the society where there are elders who can be able to guide them, and that will even avoid these problems of teenage pregnancies and the rest, because there will be guidance from that level. About the budget requests, we have a budget request of 5 billion which was made, but was not allocated by the National Treasury. So budget for recruitment on the current financial year is not available, but the staff establishment has been forwarded to the Public Service Commission for approval. I will again repeat the same thing, that it is because initially it was just a directorate, but now that it is a whole State Department, we are able to negotiate for budget support for this particular State Department to be able to address the needs of the children. The targeted programs of the children who are in conflict with the law. So through emergencies budget, which is 330 million, we are addressing FGM, sensitizing communities. We are giving what is called psychosocial support for families and the children who are affected. The GBV is one of the issues that is affecting children even as they grow up. So there is a presidential task force which was established to be able to understand what are the causes of gender-based violence and femicide. And the task force has already finished their report, which is going to be released very soon, and it will inform also part of our decision-making and how we run our programs. We have 44,000 children that are currently in institutions, and we have a strategy through the National Care Reform. In the year 2022 to 2032, we intend to transition children from these homes. We intend to transition all of them to their families. And it is not going to be done quickly, because we cannot again send children to places that have not been properly looked at. So we also have to take care of them. So we ensure that we do the transition progressively, as we also monitor how these children are adjusting back, so that we don't have a backlash of releasing the children back to their families, and then they get issues of violence and mistreatment that comes with people that have never lived with children for a long time. So I've attempted to answer some of the questions. In case there is any that I have not answered, I'll be willing again to come back. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable CS Senator Kenyuru. You're out of order. Kindly hold your horses. Thank you so much, Honorable CS. The Honorable CS has said that he's willing to engage further. So you, Senator Miraj, you are to be the last to ask your 2 supplementary questions. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Madam CS, there is a release on data by the National AIDS Control Council on the triple effect that at least 660 girls were defiled and are pregnant, summing up to 240,000 girls in the year 2024 who were defiled and are pregnant. I don't know what are the measures. I was listening through your answers to get to glance on something that you are doing as a ministry to curb this situation, given that there is a young girl from Meru County, 26 years old, who is already a grandmother. So this shows that it is a vicious cycle that our children are going through. Secondly, I'm asking about the operationalization of the Victims Fund, given that a report indicates that the money that are released to that fund by the Exchequer usually goes back to the account because you don't have a policy. There is no single child victim that has received any funding from this fund. What are the measures that you are taking as a ministry to make sure that this fund is fully operationalized, given that the board sits, withdraws per diems from that fund, but yet the core function of the fund is not working? Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Now, Honorable CS, as you respond to the questions by Senator Miraj, kindly address the question asked by Senator Essi or Kenyuri. Proceed, Honorable CS.
Thank you, Senator. The response to the issue of teenage pregnancies, which is actually very alarming and very worrying, we must admit that. And as asked by the senator from Meru, Meru is leading in teenage pregnancies. The ministry has a plan on adolescents through the World Bank funding. Currently, we are awaiting disbursements of funds to implement, because it is a standalone, it is a problem that you are seeing in Meru, but there are so many unreported cases of these adolescents. And you can imagine a child who is a mother. So a child and a child mother and a child. So these are issues that seriously we are looking at them, and I've given this answer, but we are engaging very, very rigorously to ensure that we even approach it, and we use what is called an all-of-government approach. We are dealing with the Ministry of Education, religious organization, the Ministry of Interior through the Ngao, to be able to speak and educate these children and address this particular issue, so that we do not only wait until we have statistics. Like now during the holidays, the children should be sensitized on this, because again, when we come to with all the festivities and this kind of parties in the evening, you know, children are free. We are calling upon, let me even use this opportunity to call upon all parents and guardians. Tafadhali, please help us to keep the children safe. Please don't send children to places that you do not know where they are, because come the new year, we'll now be having maybe double the number. So I'm sending a clarion call to all parents to please take care of our children. Tell the girls what it means to be out in the dark with a boy where you are not sure what is going to happen next. It's simple things that we have to tell them. Tell them in the morning, tell them in the evening, tell them in church, tell them in school, tell them everywhere. We all have a duty. The second question was, just allow me, let me get it.
There's a question on street families that was asked by Senator Essie.
Thank you. Street families, you are aware that we have Street Families Rehabilitation Trust Fund, which has carried out a study, conducted a study on street families. The report will be launched by December 2025, and which will help us to get interventions on what is to be undertaken. Because street families, you know, nobody belongs to the street. These are families who are living in the streets, and there are no street children. These are children living in the street. Nobody belongs to the street. And therefore, when we get this report, which is supposed to be launched by December 2025, it will first of all inform us how many children or how many families are in Nairobi, how many families are in Nakuru, how many families are in whichever town, and be able to follow up and say, where did they come from? Who are the leaders from that particular ground? What made those children or those families to leave where they belonged and come back to the street? Is it because of violence? Is it because of poverty? We also have issues where we are told that some of the children who are borrowing in the street are being encouraged by the money that people give. So we'll also be able to educate the masses and say, instead of giving money to the children on the street, you can give them to a particular fund so that it can be used to reintegrate them back to their families. But this can only be done and be informed after we get the audit report, the census report of the number of families who are living in the streets and from where. Thank you very much.
Now, Honorable Senators, we have spent 1 hour on this question. That should be adequate. We will now move to the next. Honorable CS, thank you so much for coming before the Senate, and thank you for your responses. We'll now move to question number 114 by Senator Karen Nyamu.